Hi everyone, my name is Omar, and today we're going to talk about why October is the best month. Not just why October itself is the best month, but why October 1992 was the best time of all time. First of all, we start off with why October was the best month. October is the best month, first of all, because of Halloween, because of the weather changing, because of all the great things you can do in October, where the heart of the NFL season is at its core, and where you have all those Halloween parties and all the weather changing from summer to fall completely, where it's just you're always starting to get hoodies on and go to bonfires and pass out candy. It's a great time. So then we start off with October 1992. We jump right into it with celebrity birthdays. Start off with hip hop rapper Cardi B. She was born in October 11th, 1992, and I had no idea she was 25 years old. She's actually only 18 days older than me. So that's pretty cool. We move on to the next celebrity, Tyler James Williams, who plays Barney's brother in How I Met Your Mother. He's also had a few other minor roles, but that's the most famous role that I've recognized him from. Then we move on to Josh Hutcherson from The Hunger Games. He plays Peeta in The Hunger Games. He was also in The Bridge to Terabithia, I believe, and he's played a few other minor roles in some Disney shows and movies. Then we move on to Vincent Martella, who is one name I actually recognize right away. He played Chris Rock's best friend in Everybody Hates Chris, which was an old Nickelodeon show. And then we move on to some notable deaths in October of 1992. We start out with Henry Ray Milton, who died of a stroke on October 1st, 1992. Then we talk about Bruce Vorhauer, the sponge inventor. He died of suicide on October 1st. And then we mention Eddie Kendricks, who passed away from lung cancer on October 5th, 1992, which is horrible, and may they all rest in peace. Then we move on to some famous movies that came out during 1992 in October. The most notable ones that I saw were Of Mice and Men, the story of George and Lenny, which is throughout the book. If you've ever read it, it's pretty interesting book until it finally gets to the end, where the ending is just brutal. I won't ruin it for anyone who hasn't watched it. So if you haven't read that book, it's a fantastic book. And then another movie called Reservoir Dogs came out, which was I personally never watched it, but based on Rotten Tomatoes, it got 96%. So I mean, it has to be a great movie if it's rated that high. Then we move on to music. In the Billboard Hot 100, the top single throughout all of October was Boyz II Men's song "End of the Road." It was at a record 13 weeks in a row at number one, which was at the time an all-time record on the Billboard Hot 100. Until a song by Whitney Houston, which I can't remember, ended up breaking the streak at 14 weeks. And then we move on to events. On October 1st, Cartoon Network, the cable programming ended up premiering. A lot of great shows came out with it. Ed, Ed and Eddie, Dexter's Laboratory, other great shows ended up premiering, and then Cartoon Network ended up revealing or unveiling Adult Swim, which brought out Family Guy and other great shows. And then we talk about the Great Pittsburgh International Airport opened on October 1st in 1992. Then the Atlanta Braves won their 98th win on October 3rd, which in a baseball season, 98 wins is very hard to achieve out of a 162 game season. So 98 wins in 162 games is very impressive and a feat that should be commended by them. And then we move on to the most harrowing of all the events that happened in October of 1992, and that's the Carindiro Massacre, which occurred in the Carindiro Penitentiary in October 2nd, 1992. On October 2nd in 1992, there was a huge prison riot in Sao Paulo, Brazil, in the Carindiro Penitentiary. There were a few thousand prisoners and only 15 prison guards, and a few prison fights had broken out, and the prisoners, the prison guards had tried to attempt to calm these prisoners down. They tried to control the prisoners, but due to the numbers of the prisoners, they overwhelmed the prison guards and ended up almost killing some of them. Until the warden of the prison decided to call on the Brazilian police to try to help them contain the prisoners. The police officers ended up storming the prison and killing 115 of the inmates. They had used, if I remember correctly, 515 bullet casings, or 515 bullet casings were found against the prisoners. They were used against prisoners. So this was actually considered one of the most major human rights violation in Brazil's history. They killed 115 prison inmates and used over 500 bullets on them, and it was a horrible bloodbath and probably the most. It was one of the worst. It was one. It was one of, if not the worst, tragedy that I read about that happened in October of 1992. So to recap, in October of 1992, the celebrity birthdays of Cardi B, Tyler James Williams, Josh Hutcherson, Vincent Martella, all born on October 1992. The deaths of Henry Ray Milton, Bruce Vorhauer, who invented the sponge, and Eddie Kendricks, the Temptation singer, who also passed away. I didn't mention the price of gas was $1.12, which would right now seem like an absolute dream during the gas prices we have right now. I think some gas stations are even over $3 right now, which is absolutely crazy. And then in 1992, of course, the famous movies that had come out were Of Mice and Men and Reservoir Dogs. And in the world of music in 1992, the hottest song was End of Road by Boyz II Men. And the major events that had occurred in October of 1992 were the Carindale Massacre, Cartoon Network's cable networking premiering, the Great Pittsburgh International Airport opening up, and the Atlanta Braves winning their 98th win of the season. Thank you for your time. Thank you very much.